and welcome in another umbraCoffee episode. It's our 15th episode. We've just realized that we are here for more than 2 months already.
4 months.
4 months. Yeah, I'm having problem with math. Hello, everyone. We have 2 guests today with us. It's Emma and Lars. Who is in the same time zone in Poland. I'm trying to convert every time and talk about how many time zones we are covering. So we are right now in 2 time zones, Norway, UK, and Poland. Hello, guys.
Hi there.
Hey.
How are you?
Good, really good.
Week for you?
Yeah, busy week. All got our coffees, or tea.
Water.
Cheating a bit.
Callum, we had a birthday, and I finally wanted to announce that maybe you are mature enough to drink coffee with us. But if not, let's keep using water. No worries. Okay, there is a lot of things going on in the community. We have a lot of news to cover this week, so let's jump ahead to them, and we will have a lot more time to discuss other things later. Let's start from Code Garden. We are all here who will be there. That's a great news for all of us, and I'm finally confirmed. I really wanted to go. Yeah. And Lars, you will be doing a great workshop. It was announced this week. I will share my screen and show some more details from agenda, but let's just maybe tell us something more about your workshops and your involvement in Code Garden this year.
Yeah, first of all, last time I checked, there's 1 spot free. So someone is really keen and jump in. It's going to be fun. It's the same workshop I did at UK Festival last year, and it's kind of a culmination of all the talks and workshops and everything. For those of you who don't get a chance, all the material is open sourced and available on Bitbucket. You can see it on my blog. And do even try to go through it and then come to the workshop and get even more out of it.
Mm-hmm. And we have a lot of new faces coming each week to the agenda. I didn't see Dave or Kevin earlier, so I think that it's pretty new announcement. So we will be keeping an eye on the agenda, and I think that it will be, as it said, it will be releasing new faces each week or maybe more often. That's great. And we're
going like mega scale this year as well. They've got 4 different buildings or something, I heard, so that we can have like dedicated streams and sections for different talks. So it's going to be loads of different stuff to see.
And we're all looking forward to it. Another announcement this week and month was a new profile in March. And it is a profile of Matt Brailsford, who was joining us on umbraCoffee a couple of weeks back. There's a lot of useful information about Matt and his activity and involvement in the community and all the topics around it. But regarding this announcement, I found a really exciting thread on Twitter, started by Lee, and history in Umbraco community and all the talks. And I found a picture of Matt without beard, and it was surprising for me because I'm pretty fresh. Let's still consider it as fresh. I wouldn't recognize him on the street, to be honest. But there were a lot of interesting links here, for example, to talks about integrating some e-commerce, newcomers. I can't remember the name of this package or this tool.
Nopcommerce, I think.
Nopcommerce, yes, Nopcommerce, and talks from the festivals or Code Gardens from 2011 or even more way back. But it was really entertaining for me and interesting to see Matt without beard. What else do we have?
I think last week, just before we went live, or as we were live, Kevin Jump released or announced that he'd released 2 new versions of his big packages. So Usync got an update, and also Translation Manager, which is awesome. And I told him next time, be more wary and release before 11:30 so we can get it into our news bulletin.
And Dave kept this today with releasing a tour editor package, which he mentioned during the umbraCoffee, and it's released, so it's in version 1.0 right now, available for us to download. And as we all may notice, it's on the agenda on Code Garden's agenda. So I presume that Dave will be talking more about how it was done or how we can all use it to make tours in Umbraco in the latest version.
Yep.
Yeah, we also had a stacked content update and new release, version 1.1.0, text count package, and CMS environment indicator from Lee got a small update this week also. But speaking about updates, I know, and I had a really nice chat with Sebastian today about our forum and the portal for the community. It will receive small updates, not so small at the end, but it will give more flexibility and more room for all us here involved in the community. So we are all looking forward, but it's all top secret. But yeah, we need to keep an eye on our and its changes, which will be released in 3 or 4 weeks ahead. So
yep. So I did a pull request at the Umbraco Down Under Festival hackathon, which was just making a way of flagging a package to be deprecated or no longer supported, and that the other day was merged in. So I don't know when that's going to be released or if it has been released yet, but that pull request has been accepted. So you'll see that in our Umbraco very shortly. And Sebastian's also mentioned on another thread that I'm a part of some work they're doing around badges. Which I guess, well, maybe we can get Sebastian on at some point and we can probe him for some information about what's going to be coming up. But yeah, there's going to be some big updates coming to our Umbraco, I think, in the next month or so.
Yeah. And what Sebastian mentioned also is that they are, of course, always open for suggestions from the community. So if anyone wants to see some particular feature or thing there, or maybe put some involvement from their side, they are always open and willing to even have a chat or discussion about possibilities, what can it bring to the community and our activity around it. So that's good.
I know when I went to the retreat last year, there was a big focus on our and ideas coming through to make it more accessible to the community, and a lot of exciting ideas that we may not have had time to do in the retreat as well, but I'm sure they were on a backlog. So yeah, it's exciting to see those come through. It's a really important site, a real go-to. So yeah, I can't wait to see that.
Don't be modest. You did a lot of work on our at the retreat, so a few good things actually came out of that too.
Yeah. It was a lot of GitHub contributions and things. So it's evolved a little bit since then, but yeah, it was really, really fun. And it was the first time I'd done a pull request to our. So yeah, it was exciting as well.
Yeah, I've did some too, and I think that it's really important to have a one hub and one place for all of us to just even as an entry point to some other chats or tools or even external tools to make it more active inside of the community. But right now we have too many places where we are having discussions, and having a central hub will be really useful for the community to just know where to look for things and what we should use to just start working with Umbraco or even extending it.
Also from a contribution point of view, I found that doing like pull requests into the Umbraco source code is way less scary than I thought. So people go, I could never imagine in a million years doing a pull request to the Umbraco source. And then they do one, they're like, oh, okay, actually, it's not that bad. People are friendly and I get feedback and it wasn't that difficult. And then, but I would never dream of touching our Umbraco, this like sacred forum, and it's got all this different functionality and stuff. It's really not that scary. It's just like the normal Umbraco sites we're working with day to day. So I'd encourage people to contribute to that as well. I don't think as many people do, but as Marcin said, Sebastian's open to features and ideas. So if you've got an idea, just do a pull request.
Yeah, I've had a cool pull request going that's actually gotten a bigger pull request. So my pull request has had a pull request that I merged from Kotal. And then the other day, another guy came around and found a bug with the Blender. So he made a pull request to my pull request. And now it's up to me to kind of get all of this together and manage to do a full pull request to Umbraco. That's really cool.
Yeah, so you feel like a maintainer of an open source product right now inside of the other product.
But that's the beauty of community. Everybody can pitch in on anybody's idea, and then finally it might get into the core.
Yeah. Skipping to the another topics and community and more power behind it. We had also a Script release an issue this week, and it was really great. I really found a lot of interesting topics, even personally, because it was, of course, let me just share my screen to show you. So it was releasing the 2 main articles, and Emma is with us today. Great article, Emma, about solid CMS and all the principles in development. And we had a Lars backup today, who is known from evangelizing and keeping everyone in order to follow solid practices and unit testing requirements and all those stuff around it. So we will talk about it later. But we had also a countdown to burnout article by Tim Payne, and I really wanted also to invite Tim, but he chose to go to snowboarding to Switzerland.
Oh wow.
It's a shame. No, but Tim, enjoy snowboarding. We will talk about it later. A great article. Feel free, all of you, to check out all of those. And we had a bunch of really interesting announcements here. We will of course link all of them below the video. So feel free to check if you haven't checked it yet. The topic which we wanted to discuss with you guys is a solid. So solid principles, solid CMS. And Emma, if you can start to just share with us what, I don't know, brought you to writing this article. What was the inspiration or everything behind it?
Yeah, sure. It's an article that I wanted to read myself. I've been trying to think about the way we're building things, building CMS, and making sure to follow those principles. And it's something that the company I work for, Rock Solid Knowledge, they're very much aficionados of that, making sure we follow the right patterns and practices. And I just really wanted an article which just sort of, I think it's a starting point for solid in CMS development, going through each of the items, thinking about separation of concerns. And then I was thinking, well, if I know there's lots of articles about individual bits and bobs, but what if I just try and write an article that covers each point? And the process of writing that article made me rethink a lot of the code I was writing at the time as well. So there's a lot of refactoring going on that as the article evolves. So yeah, I kind of wanted to consider it, bring all the different points together and consider the way I was building things and then summarize it. I was really lucky to be asked to write for Script as well. So, because I know I've subscribed to them for a long time. So yeah, I was really excited to write it. And I think probably in about a year's time, I'd probably revisit and maybe do sort of a reboot version from what I've learned for the following year. So.
Yeah, I really think that we should all revisit knowledge from the basics from time to time, and I'm trying to do it all the time lately. And Lars, you've said on Twitter that you encourage people to read this article, and if they have time to read the one article in this quarter, it should be this one. So can you let us more know about your point of view to those topics and how you tweeted this message particularly?
Well, yeah, sure. First of all, making people aware that there are such a thing as the solid principles are a first step. So just being exposed to it is something you should be as a developer as soon as possible. Even before you start learning about unit testing, you should learn about separation of concerns and making stuff maintainable. And these are the best practices, in my opinion, to be able to do that. And I took some notes, and the first thing that struck me from Emma's article is that, yeah, of course, if you don't follow a single responsibility principle, you're gonna block and clutter extensibility already. So the minute you put two dependencies into one function, or two responsibilities into one function, then you've already started to mess up. So yeah, it's and they're all intertwined, right? So the more you do it, the more benefits you get from the solid principles as a whole. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed that a lot of the patterns from Gang of Four, for instance, was introduced as means to solve those issues.
Yeah, and I think this year design patterns is something, I mean, I've covered them previously, but with CMS development, I really want to get some really good ones down where it just works really well for Umbraco, and any CMS. So these aren't just for Umbraco, but that's the example I used. But anywhere where you've got a system that essentially, content update. So yeah, you kind of want to make sure, because you can actually use Umbraco just as is. So one of the other things is to remember that you can just install it via, I don't know, Web Matrix, or independently your hosting provider could just install your template, and that would work still. So this is a thing to consider, like if you're back-end developer, and often if you've got a lot of third-party dependencies and you want to do unit testing, to start in this way is vital, but it's not to scare people off and say you've got to do it all this way if you're installing Umbraco, because one of the things is to remember that it can just be used as is and updated as is. Yeah, but for us, we're working with third-party systems. We've got Angular JS apps going on inside the main website that use APIs. So to build it in this way from the start is really important, and to make it maintainable and testable. And I went to Lars' unit testing workshop as well in the last Code Garden, really enjoyed it. And a lot of the principles, you just really need to start extracting dependencies away, abstracting them away, in order to be able to make your code testable. And you end up with a really lovely website, but you don't feel that kind of sinking feeling of everything being tied together and unable to be updated. So I think another thing is as well, if you're using packages, is to try and think of a way you might want to abstract dependencies to those. So I know in Artifact we had to, so like if I'm using Marcello, for example, so I'm now injecting the Marcello factory in. So basically then we create the Marcello helper. So that kind of extracts that away as well. So there's a lot of things as I'm building this and thinking about it more, I'm sort of trying to keep one repository of like the one I put on the example, actually, my sample code, where I just keep going back to that, keep updating it as I learn and think about more ways of doing things. Find that the easy way to remember it.
We'll put a link to the article and the Git repo in the description, so that people can go and find that and take a look, and maybe even, I don't know, contribute some.
Yeah, I'd be up for that, definitely. Yeah, like I said at the end, it's just sort of my understanding, my way of thinking about it, and the way I've been taught. But I know there'll be a lot of other ideas there, a lot of other thoughts and patterns. And I know Lars has got loads of these ideas where I just love to learn and love to hear different ways of doing things, and maybe changing the way the solutions I've come up with to be more appropriate. I don't know. So yeah, I'm really happy for contributions and comments about have you thought of doing it this way, kind of thing. So yeah, I think it's just trying to think about solid principles when you start writing the code as well, when you're architecting a solution, and keep revisiting them as well to make sure you've not, in the rush to get things live, just moved away from them. We all know what happens.
Deadline-driven development.
Yeah.
Not always enough if it works, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, let's keep everyone invited to read this article, and not only article, attend talks, attend unit testing workshops, and Ismail also has a great talk about learning how to write clean code. It's great to jump on various events in Umbraco, not only Umbraco community, to learn more about it and use it inside of the work. We all need to do it.
Totally.
Yeah, no, Emma left it up to me to explain all the benefits with unit testing.
Okay, let me grab another coffee.
So let me just shoot one little thing in there about the benefits about testing, which has been growing on me for a long while. When you test your website through the GUI, you start the website, you even started with debugging enabled, and then you wait for half a minute until the front page pops up, and then you click through the solution until you get to the form you want to post, and then you fill out the form and you post it, and you see the response, and, oh no, there's a little error there. And you have to rebuild, and you spend 30 seconds waiting for the whole thing to spin up again. When you do when you do unit testing, there's a big difference there. When you have automated tests, then you will be able to run that scenario in 5 to 10 seconds instead of the 1 minute you'd otherwise spend. So I've saved hours just by not waiting for my web server all the time. So that's the biggest benefit, in my opinion.
Yeah, we can totally agree. That's only one thing what we can do right now. Let's do this. And let's move to the summary and some of the news, because we have so many things to share and so little time to do it. I just wanted to bring to attention some of the topics, and Callum, you were also interested to share more details about some of them. We saw great article on Umbraco blog lately, 7 stories and from 7 different women in Umbraco community. It was related with International Women's Day. And you, Emma, also shared your story with Umbraco. We invite you all to check the links and discover more about girls in our community. And we wanted to do something here. We want to invite you girls to fill the forms and call for proposals on our events, UK and Polish festival. We are all looking for some interesting stories to be shared on those events. And we each year suffer from the beauty part of the agenda. So feel invited to fill those forms, feel invited to share your stories. We know that you are there. Let know everyone else to discover you there in the community. What else we have? We have a summary of the UDEF Fest from the Chief Unicorn. A great video from Paul about using React with Umbraco, and a great blog post from Off-Road Code, once again featured on our umbraCoffee about saving bandwidth in Umbraco back office. And yeah, I think that's from the blog post point of view. It's all. We had a lot of pull requests in the last week, and 3 of them were made by Niels. We will share links to this summary in the video description as well. And we can all invite you to attend Sydney meetup. Unfortunately, I can't go, it's too far. But if you are close enough to visit Umbraco Sydney meetup next week, just do it. And do we have anything else to mention? Did we not cover something?
I think there's still a few free tickets available for women who want to go to Code Garden. So they do this every year now. On International Women's Day put up 10 or so free tickets for girls in tech or ladies who code or whatever. I don't know what the term that they used is, but there's a few still available. So if anyone is interested in going, you just need to reach out to, I think it's kri@umbraco.com or .uk, and you can get your free ticket. Well worth doing, especially if you've never been to Code Garden before. Like, it's a great opportunity. Yeah,
totally. And I find it's a really good festival. I've never felt uncomfortable there. You know, I've always felt Umbraco really good at improving inclusivity, and basically I've never felt sort of singled out for being female there. So yeah, I definitely would say it's one of the best festivals. I think it's the best festival I've been to in terms of feeling comfortable as a woman and not feeling like it's a strange, weird thing. You know, it's I really think they do well to promote that, and it's always good fun as well.
Let's hope they can't fit the Women of Code Garden photo on the stage this year.
Yeah, I know. Each year it's more and more, isn't it? Yeah. So I think I was in a workshop. I think I was in your workshop actually, so I might have missed that photo shoot. So I'll try and get on the next one.
Okay, I think that's all then. Let's see each other on Code Garden and some other various events before that. And thanks you all for being here with us, and keep up the good work, both of you. evangelizing and doing everything what you are doing. And yeah, thanks for being with us.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks for the chance for the chat. Okay.
Have a good weekend.
You too. Bye.